but I'm starting to believe that the reason why Aries makes some of these comments is because he doesn't want to be married to Jasmine and he's trying to look for things to put her off because it doesn't make sense while he was telling her about being in an orgy or any other sex position or sex question he was going on about. It truly doesn't make sense. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, it's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 10. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, I will sort of discuss the couples individually, and if there's anything else, I'll add at the end. So, we start off with Jasmine and Aries. So Aries apparently tested positive, and Jasmine has been looking after him besides going to work. And so he was sort of grading how much effort she's been making in looking after him, and it's like, this woman barely knows you. When you sit down to talk to her, you talk about sex. Why should she be putting in any effort after your cousin made it clear that you don't want to be married to her? And there is the chances of you saying no on decision day are higher than you saying yes. She's tried everything to make this thing work. I appreciate the effort she's applying and deal with it. Why not get your cousin, the one that really loves you that much, to come and look after you if you think Jasmine is not doing a great job? Anyway, once he's recovered from COVID, he then kicks Jasmine's dog for a wash. And he was saying he's trying to show that he cares, sort of reciprocate what she did for him while he was battling COVID and stuff. And it's like, okay. And then they had this sit down because the experts gave them questions and they sat down and they were talking and they were trying to get to know one another. And Eris is saying, well, my wife, I want to get to know her better. So they played Never Have I Ever. Had you kissed a girl? Your life is bland. You need to go and redo it again because you need to do everything before you get married. And it's like, not everyone has to kiss someone of the same sex in order to get married. Not everyone has to be in an orgy in order to get married. Not everyone has to discuss their sexual conquest in order to get married. If that's what you think, then you still need to be in the streets. You're almost 40 years old and you're still behaving like a little boy. I seriously think for some reason his cousin has got into his head. I think he's doing that in order for her to say no on decision day because he will have put her off. Otherwise, there's no reason why he should be discussing sexual positions with her. And it's really sad. This is a situation of someone who really wanted to get married. Jasmine really appears to have wanted to get married and sadly was saddled with this. I don't even know how to describe him. Someone said Nipsey no hustle. Well, Nipsey no hustle. And I don't know who or what he thinks he'll get at 40 if he still hasn't yet found himself a partner. Pastor Carl matched him up with an amazing woman, and he's playing with her. I wish Married at First Sight would get the couples that were married on the show and that are still married to actually come in and sort of just sit down conversations with the people during the experiment and sort of help them understand how they got to succeed in their marriages. Because I don't get this couples couch with single people. I think it needs to be with people that succeeded in the experiment, people that put in the work. They are the ones that need to sit on the couch and be advising and sort of critiquing what the others are doing right and doing wrong. Yeah, I know some of the single people might have good information, but I don't think that should be it. Anyway, we move on from them to Clint and Gina. Clint and Gina, for me, I think it's now a business contract. That's just my opinion. Because Clint goes to see Gina's salon. They have to show the name. I said this before. I said Gina is staying in this marriage for publicity. That's it. That's the impression that I'm getting. Because he came to a salon. I barely saw exactly what he did. There were people just standing around, had a brief conversation, and then off he went. They went sailing with Clint on his boat, and she said she seemed to enjoy that. Yeah, they did go out to this cowboy thing. They're cordial at least, but I think moving in together, they must have had conversations off camera and decided that this thing is not going to work. So while we're in it, let's make the most of it and get ourselves as much publicity as we can for our various endeavors, and that's it. Because I don't understand why we needed to go to Gina Salon. Yeah, maybe going to to his boat and sailing was more luxury, but I don't understand why we needed to see Gina's salon, apart from the fact that she said she wanted it screened so that it goes along for the show. Maybe the producers didn't want to have two divorces off the bat, and they agreed to film her in a salon and promote her salon until the end. That's the impression that I'm getting. Anyway, and then Chris. Nicole and Chris. Nicole is really shocking for me, and I am partly happy, but I'm also a bit worried in the sense that they did go for a couples massage, which was good. She seemed very happy with that. She said it's something she wanted to do. Then they went out on a date for a sit down where they were having cocktails and stuff. And in my opinion, the impression that I'm getting is Nicole is really trying her best to show her best side. I think she really wants to be married to Chris. She really likes Chris, and so she wants to stay married to him. So she's trying to stay on her best behavior, more or less, and is doing everything within her power to sort of calm down, the negative side. Because Chris told her that, during one of his interviews, he didn't want her to say it after decision day, but he wanted her to know that he had said she's a bit on the thicker side, and she was obviously upset about it. But the way she went around it and didn't sort of blow up the way she normally does about every little thing, I think Nicole is sort of looking at the long term picture. She's realized she's got a great guy, and she's realized the only way she can keep him is to stay on her best behavior, and she's going to continue to be on her best behavior until after decision day. That's the impression that I'm getting. Um, and then um, Kirsten and Shaq. Kirsten and Shaq, I really like them. It's really sad, apparently, Shaq, because of his job, he hasn't been having a lot of time because of his mentees. He's been staying back and having some social activities for them. And Kirsten spoke to one of her friends. I think she spoke to the one that Shaq was saying was his biggest cheerleader and was trying to give him tips and sort of ideas on how to deal with Kirsten so that his marriage could succeed. And she gave him a lot of positive feedback. She gave Kirsten a lot of positive feedback, which I liked. And then, his mentees, Shaq's mentees, came to the house to meet Kirsten. Kirsten was happy to meet them, and they also gave their insight into who Shaq is. And I think this is good for Kirsten because Shaq is opening himself to Kirsten for her to see exactly who he is, to understand who he is as a man. Because he doesn't want her to just judge her by being bold. And she seemed to appreciate that because they gave them a meal and stuff. And then they went to what appeared to be a garden center. And Shaq was sort of discussing flowers with Kirsten, and I like the fact that he was assertive enough to say, "No, this is yes, you like that one, but this is the one we're going with." And because I want us to watch it grow, I want us to exercise patience. And then Kirsten decided to do a spa day for Shaq at home when he came home from work. And I think I understand Shaq's frustration in the sense that he was trying to have a conversation with Kirsten. Sort of, he opened up about himself and told her the things he didn't like about himself, the fact that he became bald early, his body, his scars from the accident. And it was he opened himself up to her, and it's sad that Kirsten didn't do the same. And I don't understand why she didn't do the same because Shaq actually said to her, "I understand you were hurt by someone and your walls came up, but I think you need to bring your walls down because if we were out to get to decision day like this, I don't." See myself saying yes because I want to know you as a person. And this is not the first time Shaq has complained. I remember last time he complained to her that I need you to open up. I need you to tell me about yourself so that I know who exactly you are and I can understand the person that I'm dealing with, which makes sense in a marriage. You can't have a one sided relationship. And I don't know whether it's because she doesn't want to talk about herself on camera or whether she's just not that into Shaq and so she's just going through the process and then will say no on decision day and doesn't want to give him any ammunition. I think Shaq is an amazing guy. I think he's highly intelligent. I think he's very articulate. I think he's caring. He's loving. He's and he ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of women. And I don't get why Kirsten is not saying that. I don't get why she's sort of closing herself off and being very protective of herself. When I look at Shaq and Kirsten, I see Brianna and Vincent. I know I was one of Vincent's biggest champions during their season when people were saying, "Oh, he's intimidated by by Brianna. And I said, no, it's just he's trying to impress her. And the difference is Shaq knows his worth. And so he's not going to do anything to impress Kirsten. He wants Kirsten to open up and let him see her or know who she is and then take it from there. And I wish, as I said before, the couples that are married would have a sit down with couples going through the experiment and sort of help guide them or help advise them in the challenges that they faced during their time on the show and how they were able to overcome those challenges. I think that would be of great help to the couples going through the process. But then, hey, I digress. And I was surprised Shaq said he also gave up a job because he wanted to spend time with Kirsten. Yes, he held it from her and only told her after the fact. And I think that's because he didn't want her to feel responsible for his decision, which I think he saw from last season where Justin was now holding the fact that he gave up his dog over Alexis's head. But at the same time, I didn't quite understand where Kirsten stood in that scenario because it seemed like she was disappointed that he gave up his job. But I don't know whether she was disappointed because this was an opportunity for him to progress or whether she felt that then it would be difficult for her to say no on decision day because she wasn't really feeling him that way. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.